What's up, guys? I want to start this video now while I'm driving to Talia's school. I'm fixing this real fast, and then I'm not going to really look at you guys because I want to be safe while driving. But I wanted to touch base with you real fast before I actually do the review to tell you that why basically I did not film last week. Some of you know, I think I said that I was going on vacation, and a vacation as in a total roughing it camping trip in the van. For those of you who don't know, I have a van that I am have half-ass converted into a camper van. I hope you can hear me okay. The AC is on and obviously I'm driving. That I half-assed turned into a camper van. And I bought new tires a week before the trip. We're going to Southern Oregon. Southern Oregon is, I don't think this is gonna work very well because every time I put on my brakes, the camera falls down. Southern Oregon is total Oregon desert. So it can get really hot, but it's not like the lush green Oregon that you picture when you think of Oregon. It's like Arizona desert. That's how it looks, not how it feels. God, kind of in the fucking way, dude. I like to honk at people when I drive. I'm kind of an angry driver sometimes. Anyway, so they literally call it the Oregon Outback, okay? Because it's high desert, sagebrush, no trees, desert as far as you can see with mountains in the distance kind of thing. And you drive down to Plush, Oregon. I'm part of a rock hounding Facebook group, Rock Hounding Club. For those of you who don't know what rock hounding is, you should probably just look it up because I'm not going to try and explain it to you right now. But basically we go and we dig for things like crystals, minerals, that sort of thing. So I hosted a trip. To go down there over the last weekend. Well, I guess it wasn't last weekend, it was the weekend before. Basically the 19th and the 20th, as part of the group. And so we drove down all day Friday, and all day, from 8:30 in the morning until we arrived in Plush, Oregon at 6 o'clock, 6:30 at night. And Plush, Oregon is the last town, an itty bitty town with a tiny little convenience store that has an old timey gas pump outside that you're you roll up to it and you're not sure if it's just for looks or if it actually pumps gas. It actually pumps gas. He has to take off the back of it and fiddle with it, kind of gas pump. This whole trip turned to shit really quick. So I had really specific directions that I got from we were going to a sunstone mine to dig for sunstones. And I got really specific directions from the website. And for those of you who don't know, I have anxiety, so I tend to when I plan things, I overthink everything, what could go wrong. I want to make sure I have set directions because I know that I probably am not going to have cell phone service there. So I did a lot of prevention things before I even left on the trip to make sure that if anything went wrong, I would know how to deal with it. So for example, I have the van, but I've never changed the tire of the van. It's never gone flat. I have changed the tire on this car that I'm driving multiple times. So I know how to do it, but I didn't have a socket wrench for that, whatever the thing's called, a lug wrench, for the van that fit, and I also didn't have a jack that fit. So the Saturday before, I went to my dad's and he showed me how to do it. He gave me a jack, we worked it out. I'm really sorry that this camera keeps tipping. We worked it out, and so then I also wrote down really specific directions to make sure that I knew where I was going, and I bought a Verizon track phone because I have AT&T, and I had heard that Verizon was if you got any service down there at all, it would be Verizon, which thank God I bought this phone. I'm gonna tell you in a minute how awesome it was that I got this phone. get down there and I overthink things. I guess the reason I brought up the anxiety is that sometimes when you have anxiety, especially of doing things that you're not used to doing, you overthink things, overplan, overanalyze to make sure that like nothing happens that would put you in an anxiety-filled situation. So I did all of that, and then I ended up following the directions. The directions were kind of like, go on the road until it turns to a gravel road. Like it'll turn to a gravel road, basically, something like that. So I'm driving, and you were supposed to like kind of follow the odometer, like how many miles have you gone sort of thing. Go this many miles and then the road will end and it will turn to gravel sort of thing. Well, I don't have like one of those odometers in the van that like you can reset to 0. So basically, long story short, I took a wrong road and we're just going, and I started to feel like something wasn't right. And at this point, you know, you're on a gravel road in the middle of fucking nowhere, like literal middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know if anybody drives this road in a day, okay? And I went to turn around, like I kind of went back and forth for a minute. I had a feeling I was in the wrong spot. I messaged some people on Facebook because I happened to have Verizon, happened to have a couple bars right where I was. And I messaged some people on Facebook like, I don't think this is right. Did you guys go down here? Didn't really get any messages back. Got a couple that kind of agreed with me that I was in the wrong spot. So I go to turn around, and then I overthought it again, and I was like, oh, maybe. So I turned around like twice, and the second time I went to turn around, the van kind of went into a ditch, but not like very much, but like a little bit. And so when I corrected to pull myself out of the ditch, and this is a camper van, not like a minivan, mind you, I popped a tire. The exact thing that I was trying to prepare for happened, which was just absolutely insane. And yeah, oh my God, I just like, I lost my shit, had a panic attack, sort of, but I thought to myself, well, I practiced changing the tire, like I can do it. Tilly is in the car with me, my 10-year-old daughter. For those of you who don't know, we're going over a bump. For those of you who don't know her, she was in the car with me as well. So she's kind of panicking a little bit, and I don't have any cell phone service where I had turned around and gone a little ways away. So I had no cell phone service where we were. I'm gonna park over here real fast. Hang on, I'm at her school. So no cell phone service where we were. I pop the tire, I go to pull everything out, and I don't have a lot of experience changing tires, okay? I'll tell you this. I don't have a lot of experience changing tires. Especially on a van. So I go and I get the jack out, and I'm like, God, this is a lot harder when you're half in a ditch to change a tire. And then I go and I pull out the lug wrench, and I haven't seen a lot of lug wrenches in my life. So the one that I have at home for this car does not look like the one that I had in the van. The one in this car has like, it's all one piece, and the one in the van, apparently there's like the socket part that like pulls out. Okay, so in my head at this point, I go to try and change the tire, and basically the lug wrench doesn't fit. And in my head, I'm like, well, I just bought new tires last week. I bet you they changed the lug nuts. Like, I don't know anything about changing tires in like, when you go and buy tires, I don't know what they do. So I assume that they like change the lug nuts. There is a weed whacker outside. I've had a lot of experience with lawnmowers and weed whackers today, interrupting my videos. So in my head, I was like, they must have changed the lug nuts because this lug wrench fit. Come to find out later that I was missing a piece of the socket, that in unpacking the van and repacking it for the trip, I misplaced the socket to it, which I didn't know, and I didn't realize it was missing a piece because I'm not a mechanic. Like, you know, the extent of my car knowledge is give me the tool, I can change the tire and I can check the oil, and that's about it. So at this point I have a full-blown panic attack because I can't make a phone call, can't change the tire. We are miles and miles and miles and miles, I think at least 10 miles away from people, the town. And I'm thinking, I have a 10-year-old, like I could, and I'm out of shape, but like there's no way, for one, we can walk back to town at night. It's almost, the sun's going down. I'm able to make a phone call to my mom, so I'm like, basically, I'm walking around with the phone, like trying to get reception. I get like one little bar, and we try like 50 times maybe to make the phone call go through, and it keeps dropping. And then it finally goes through, and I had about 30 seconds to tell her, like, I'm lost, this is where I think I am, I blew out a tire, I can't change the tire, like, go onto the Facebook group and try and like rally them to come help me, like the people that are down here to come help me. So, long story short, because that's already like super extensive story, the owner of the mine, Chris, comes to look for us, doesn't find us, looks until like 2 a.m., doesn't find us. I don't know any of this. We spend the night in the van, which it's a camper van, so we had supplies. I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. The sun is up by like 6. We get dressed, pack a backpack, start walking. We walk a little ways, and then lucky enough, some girls that live like I don't know where they fucking live, nowhere that you can see with your eyeballs across the desert, come tooling down the driveway, and well, it's not even a driveway, the gravel road, which is apparently their uber long driveway, and and pick us up. Like, I'm like, hey, pick us up. And they're really nice, but as you can, they're like my age or younger. As you can imagine, it's really like sketchy to pick someone up on a dirt back road in the middle of the desert in Oregon. You know, you're a little bit like, I know I need to help these people, but this is also weird. So they take us down to the main road of the town, but we're still like a mile or so away from town, I guess. This is the next morning, obviously. I think I said that. So the girls drop us off at the main road of town, but we're still like a mile or so out of town. And we start walking, and I'm like trying to get cell phone reception. Like nothing's coming through. It looks like I have a bar, but like no phone calls can go through. And I finally like, it's still early morning, so like the town is still kind of waking up. And on the outskirts of the town, it's all ranchers. So like cowboys, like cowboys you see in movie cowboys. Cowboys, I've never seen real cowboys before like this. Like this is like legit cowboys. With their like horse trailers and that kind of thing, and like cattle in the road, that sort of thing. Okay. So I decide to like stick out my thumb and hitch a ride. And I have Tilia with me, and I am like, I've never been one to hitch ride. I don't think I've ever hitched a ride before, like stuck out my thumb, been a hitchhiker before ever in my life, and I certainly would never want to do it with my 10-year-old daughter. But we did, because the prospect, it was like it was longer than a mile, I think, I don't know. Anyways, I'm not in shape, and my kid was so like exhausted already from what we had walked that I just decided I'm just gonna hitchhike, and like maybe this guy has a phone. So this guy pulls over, and he's this Hispanic rancher, and the only reason I'm saying he was Hispanic was because there was a slight language barrier there, where he understood most of what I was saying, but I think like he wasn't picking up certain things, which is the only reason I'm saying that. And he had two like cute cattle dogs in his car, and he was like, he picked us up, and I said, hey, like, can you take us to the grocery store in town, which is like a little convenient store slash bar slash gas station. And he was like, yeah, but they don't open for another hour, you need to make a phone. Like, I told him that we had basically broke down, that I needed the tire changed and I couldn't do it or whatever. And I had people out there looking for me, and I said, well, you could just drop us off this way. He said, oh, I can take you to my house, you can use my landline, we don't have cell phones out here. And in my head I'm like, I don't want to go to your house, like we might never be seen again. Like, I watch a lot of horror movies, you guys, like I'm a big horror fan here, so you can like imagine why I wouldn't want to go to somebody's house to make a phone call, because literally no one knew at that point where we were or where we were going, and I could just like, we could disappear and never be seen from again. Like, it freaked me out. But then I came down to it, I was like, there's a lady outside yelling right now. I was like, I need to make a phone call. Okay, like I was like sizing him up, like, can I take him? I couldn't have taken him. You know, like how like hard could I fight? I have no weapons on me, no nothing, which is just fucking stupid. We go to his house. His dad, who's like really old, is sitting there at the table like catatonic. There's like no furniture in his house, hardly at all. Like it was like from a horror movie, okay? But he's like so nice, like such a nice dude. So I use his landline, make a phone call to my mom, to make a phone call to a tow truck. That was where the $500 thing came in. I'm inserting this portion of the video into, it might look like it's edited weird because I watched the video back and realized I didn't tell you this bit. So if you see like weird editing here, that's why. Long story short there, we make the phone call. I tell my mom, I'm gonna get to the store. Once the store opens, I'll call you back. So he takes us to the store and drops us off. So like we survived and everything, but I have to tell you guys, like that was the scariest part, I think, was just, I felt like during this trip that I had like a really bad bout of bad luck, you know? So like everything that could go wrong would go wrong. And so at that point I was like, if I hitchhike right now, like what is the probability of this guy being an axe murderer? Like, I feel like with the rate my luck is going, there's a really good chance that he could be an axe murderer or a serial killer or something, because literally like tourists can come out here and you'll never see him again and nobody will ever fucking know what happened to him. So I'm just saying. Okay, so that's it. Then the story picks back up at the convenience store, which I'm gonna take you to right. We go to the store, make some phone calls. My mom has been like working tirelessly in the background because I didn't have anybody's phone numbers on my phone and I only had 30 seconds and I was like, she has access to the internet. I'm gonna like tell her to get on Facebook and try and get me some help and try and figure out like getting a mechanic or a tow truck or something to come out here, which is always really expensive because you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And all the she goes, I called tow trucks, all the tow trucks want like $500. Finally, she got a hold of Les Schwab, which was in Lakeview, which was like another hour outside of Plush, back like towards people in Oregon. And so Les Schwab came out, took us to the car. The tire, which I had just bought a week ago, was not fixable. I had to buy a new tire, do that. Then I didn't have enough cash to pay the guy. So we had to follow him all the way back to Lakeview instead of going like forward with our trip. Followed him all the way back to Lakeview to pay the rest of the money. I was paid like $300 I think altogether for labor, and so close to the 500 but not quite. It's hot in here, you guys. Then almost gave up, almost decided I'm gonna go back home. And Chris, the mine owner who had been looking for us, he had told my mom to have me call once I got to like civilization. And so he called and said, hey, meet me back out in Plush. If you're willing to drive back out here, I will like personally guide you to the mine so that you can have the rest of the weekend, you know, and see the people that were there for the event. And so he was so great, and he met us and we ended up driving back out there, even though I was really scared. I didn't want to blow out another tire and have, you know, all this money again. And we made it out and we ended up salvaging the weekend, had a great weekend. But I had been planning on vlogging one, and I didn't vlog because I was so fucking freaked out at the thought of like being lost in the desert. As you can imagine, like it's literally a fucking television show. Everything that happened was just like, this cannot be happening to me right now, right? Like they're actually, my mom told me, she goes, I had search and rescue on standby. Like, oh God, please do not send search and rescue for us. It's so embarrassing. I told everyone, I was like, I'm so embarrassed that I just took a wrong turn. And then of course, like then, you know, I was fully prepared for the trip, but shit happens, you know? And so we salvaged the weekend, but one, that's why I didn't vlog, for one. I'm gonna get in the pickup line real fast because I'm about to. I'm gonna put this at the end of the episode, I think, at the end of my review, so that you can watch it if you want. Or maybe not. It's already pretty long. I'll probably make it its own video. Anyways, that's like the shorter version of a really long story. We ended up getting to the mine at like 3 or 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock maybe, or 4 o'clock on Saturday. And then we stayed there from Saturday to Sunday. Saturday to Sunday. And Sunday night, came home Monday morning. Drove home without a hitch. So yeah, I didn't vlog. Tillia vlogged, but most of it consisted of her in the car saying like funny shit about like not actually showing what we were doing, basically just talking about it and talking about the food that we were eating and stuff. So I did not vlog, which sucked. I was really wanting to do that. And basically my whole point in telling you this is not just for a funny story, is to tell you that when I got home, I was so emotionally exhausted and drained from the weekend that I didn't even watch Fear the Walking Dead episode 6 until last night on Sunday. I watched it Sunday evening, and then I was gonna watch the new episode, and then my internet froze up. So I couldn't even bring myself to do it because everything just was so shitty. Like, and I don't know if you guys have ever had like a panic attack and that much anxiety and stuff, and worrying about, like, it's not just me out there, it was my kid too with me. So it was worse than kind of being on your own because you have a kid that's also kind of panicking. So that's why I did not do a review or a reaction or anything like that watching it, because I just didn't watch it all week. And then I had to go back to work, and then that Sunday there wasn't a new episode, so then I've had like 2 weeks to kind of like come back to myself, and I don't know, I just felt very weird about filming again, and I've been in a weird state of mind. So that being said, I'm gonna end this video. So it'll just be kind of like a why I didn't film a reaction video, story time shit. I don't even know if it's a good video. I don't know, tell me. Want to hear more stories? Do you want to see more vlogs? I put the vlogs on my other channel because I don't want, like, some people don't like that stuff when they come here just to watch like Walking Dead stuff. So anyways, okay. I'm gonna turn this off now so I can film my review for the latest episode. Oh my god, it was so good. Okay, bye you guys.